Hey, welcome to my channel, or welcome back, loyal viewers. I'm Kerry, the nosy housefrau. How are you enjoying your pandemic? I'm doing great. I could do another year standing on my head. Got up this morning feeling fantastic, made some coffee, and had some cheese doodles for breakfast. Just kidding, but not about the cheese doodles. I am actually doing okay. I was outside a couple of days and got some sunshine, and what a difference. It was only like 60 degrees, but it was paradise to me because, of course, when you start doing yard work, you get warm anyway. But I've been thinking I'm so lucky that even though we've been maintaining social distance, not as much in the last few days as we were, but my family and I have been maintaining social distance, and I still have them. I still have them around me. And it makes me think of people who never get hugs and never have people around them. And so I want all of you to know, if you are really isolated or just need to connect, my email is below. I will read and respond to everyone who sends me an email. And I'm here for you, and we can get through this together. But I do worry about people's levels of loneliness. And I know I've had spoony friends who are used to this. They've been in isolation for years. So I just want to remind people that, take stock and take a look at how you're feeling. And if you find yourself feeling too isolated, too lonely, reach out to other people or exercise those social muscles so we don't regress to a Nell-like state by the time all of this is over. Okay, Miss a Chickapay? Well, there's a lot to unpack with this whole mess regarding Jeffree Star. There are some dark, depressing turns of events that have come to light in the last few days. And I spoke about it on my Patreon yesterday, and I'm finding that so many people feel similarly. I hear this term over and over again, benefit of the doubt. So many people for so long gave him the benefit of the doubt. And with what I'm about to tell you, if you haven't heard it yet, it will probably erase any benefit of the doubt you may have felt towards him. Certainly, I feel differently. The thing is, I already had stated in my last video that I was in this place of not liking him very much. To me, it's hard to express, but he was seeming too Hollywood, alluding to the fact that Nate had done him wrong and the thing with the car and just some very Hollywoodish type of things that I considered sort of a manipulation or an abuse of power, and just some things that weren't sitting right with me. But this is different. In the past, so many people have gone like, I described it like, being Charlie Brown and he's Lucy with the football, and every time I think everything's going to be great, he pulls it out away. This is next level. This is not a question of, oh, will I buy his stuff? It doesn't matter. He's got good makeup. I loved the series that he did with Shane Dawson. I enjoyed the heck out of that. I thought there's this rags to riches story. And as I've stated over and over again, he's the kind of person I've always wanted to like. Until now. I will say, Jeffree Star himself has never harmed anyone the way these other people he knew has. But wait till I tell you, if you don't know, the things that he had turned a blind eye to. Let me start with this guy named Davi. Davi didn't know who he was up until recently. And it turns out he was a guy from Blood on the Dance Floor, this group, who has a predilection for young people. As young as 10, which is the age I was when I was abused. 10 years old. So you don't forget 10 years old when that happens to you. As many as 21 women or more have now come forward saying they were 10 or older. He had people turn on this girl, who some people call Victim Zero. He had people turn on her and wrote a song about her that tore her to shreds when she was 12. He had 13-year-olds and now is on the radar of Chris Hansen because he is after a 16-year-old that he's been talking with. Seems ancient compared to his usual type. Now, where Jeffree Star comes in is that he knew him. There's this video of him dancing on the stage with him, and there's a girl who's apparently young. I will grant you, in this situation, imagine Jeffree Star is high as a kite. He might think it's a club where you have to be older to get into, so it's possible that he didn't recognize this girl whose face you can't even see in the dark. It's kind of a grainy film anyway. That he didn't recognize or think about her being young. Let's say that's true. I'll grant you that. But he said he saw him do things with people who were too young. I'm trying to use code, but Count D. Monet will visit probably anyway. That's not the most important thing. Mama broke and used to it. So what I think has happened here is that, okay, let's say he didn't know anything about on stage. Later, he said he saw stuff at the hotel room. In 2010, Jeffree Star puts out a tweet denouncing this guy as the P word. And yes, I can say that word. Sometimes people go, why don't you just say the word? County Monet. See County Monet. Anyway, that's why vloggers use code. It's not because we're prudes. So anyway, he says he's denouncing him as this, unfollow me if you like him, that kind of stuff. In 2011, we all get over the past. Everything with Bot F Music and I is great. That's Davi. Stop the negativity and smile. Really, this was disgusting to me. He was allegedly in the room. He says he saw these acts with underage girls, but supposedly, and I won't say the girl's name, it's readily available online, but I prefer not to mention her. She was 10 at the time. Supposedly, Davi forced her to perform an act on him in front of everyone. How the hell is she going to get over that past? How nice for him that a year later he can get over the past, stop the negativity, and smile. In 2013, Davi says Jeffree apologized to his face and bygones have been bygones. How do you rectify that situation? Was it not true? If it was not true, there would have been more to it instead of a short, simple, vague thing. So now, in 2014, they're writing songs together. They're touring together. None of this ever happened. Remember, Jeffree had said all of these things about James Charles and had nothing to back it up. What I see here is that when Jeffree loves somebody, he'll say anything whether it's true or not. When he doesn't like somebody, he doesn't care if it's true or not. He'll say anything. He likes to manipulate his audience, and we know that because Kathy Griffin even joked about it with Shane Dawson. Oh, watch, Jeffree Star said, oh, you want to see something? Watch this. And he tweeted something to get a rise out of people. He had a tweet once after he popped off on people saying, well, I did that and you fell for it, sheeple. Like he did it, because he had a palate coming out or something. I don't know. I don't even think that was true either. I think he just goes with what's convenient. That's kind of a Hollywood thingish too to me. But what I didn't know was that he was friends with at least 4 people who now have been accused of horrendous things. Somebody said he was friends with Hunter Moore. If you don't know who Hunter Moore is, his Twitter says that he was featured in Rolling Stone. He sure was, as the most hated man on the internet. He had a revenge site where people would put up inappropriate pictures of people against their will. He even paid hackers to go into people's emails and get personal pictures so that he could post and expose these things. Can you imagine anything more horrific than that on the internet? Putting up people's... For most people, that would be worse than doxing. That would destroy lives. The public humiliation would be too much to handle. And I delved into this because I needed to know, did Jeffree really know him? Because this guy started out just selling ad space on websites to bands and being involved with the music community. So I thought maybe he didn't know. He knew. They were friends long after his scandal was public, after he had been on television, all of these things. And in fact, I found a tweet where Jeffree tweeted out that he, was hooking up with boys or had pictures of band boys for him. There's a whole lot of disgusting exchanges between them. I would be very remiss if I didn't give a huge shout out and a thank you to Shannon Creepshow Art, who is an incredible vlogger. I'm going to link her below because she's done the best deep dives into this. And I've been conversing with her back and forth. She's been so nice to give me her time, and we've had exchanges over this. For a young person, she just has a real... very good true north. She has a raw honesty. She speaks her mind, and it's a sharp one. So I encourage you to go look at her channel. I like that she is first and foremost true to herself and her own opinions. That to her is more important than clout or anything else, and people like that are gems. So with going back and forth with her, I learned that yes, Jeffree was friends with Hunter Moore. He knew him. There's actually another guy who did something even worse. What portal to hell opened up in the clubs that Jeffree was singing in? I can't even imagine. And of course, he's only responsible for what he does, and bold claims require bold evidence. This situation is a bold claim that has the bold evidence. And it gets worse because I saw a lot of people linking Paige's video yesterday, and I didn't want to watch it till after I posted mine because I had a feeling we were of a similar mind, and I don't like to be influenced by other videos before I do mine. But it turns out that she had been given a response by Jeffree, so I had to watch it, at least part of it. But as always, I get sucked in because Paige is so eloquent and expressive, and I could tell that the video pained her to make. And I'll let her tell you if that's true or why that's true, but it felt to me that she was also feeling a bitter disappointment, and this sort of you get a topsy-turvy feeling when somebody turns out to be more monstrous than you knew. That may be what she's going through. It's certainly the way a lot of us have been feeling. But she said that when he reached out to her, he told her that a lot of this stuff was photoshopped. Now, that's where benefit of the doubt came in, because if you recall, remember the Scissorhands guy that was kind of questionable that used to work for him? He was making some claims about texts, and Jeffree claimed they were photoshopped, and everyone gave him the benefit of the doubt because it couldn't be proven. The problem is, in this case, those tweets are still on his account. Stuff he's saying was faked is still out there, attached to his account. What is he talking about? I don't know if he couldn't delete them, or he's a very tweet and delete guy, so somehow these are still out there attached to his account. That makes no sense. I will link Paige's video below, and again, I'm not speaking for Paige, but it seemed to me that she was extremely unhappy. For me, part of this is, we all know that for years there are a group of people who just want to cancel Jeffree. They want to cancel him so bad they could taste it. And that's actually worked against them because people have lost credibility with all of the reaching that they do. Now, there were things that looked damning but couldn't be proved. And people are just going to have to accept the fact that we can be on the same journey with people but in different places. And you have to let people organically come to their conclusions. And it is not anyone's fault but Jeffree's that he is now facing the backlash that he's getting. I can't blame that group. I can't blame any haters. This he brought on himself. And the fact that some people may enjoy that, that can't be helped. It is what it is. There are people even saying that Paige, was canceled from the payroll and that's why she's making her video now. Those people can take a long walk off a short pier. They don't interest me. I don't care. I think anyone with a brain can see what's going on, so I will let people use their critical thinking skills and figure out for themselves where they should be at and how they should feel. Now, someone had posted online, everybody deserves a second chance. The past is the past. And while I agree with that, the problem is I don't have a gray area when it comes to the protection of children, and I don't think there's a statute of limitations. If you were in the room, ask yourself this. If you saw somebody with the most mature-looking 10-year-old you can imagine, who is still a 10-year-old, and you saw something inappropriate, when would that be okay with you? When would you say that was water under the bridge? Never. Never would that be okay. Not for any amount of money, not for any amount of clout or fame. At no time should there be wavering on how you feel about that person. At no time. There's no explanation. Keemstar says that he spoke on FaceTime with Jeffree and that Jeffree has a good explanation. He's booked up for the week, but that he has a great explanation for it. I'm open to hearing it. I'm not going to lie. I don't think there's a good explanation possible. I'm telling you, for me, the jury is in. For the longest time, I would have this tug of war with him. Somebody asked me yesterday, did I have a change of heart? And perhaps I have. I was thinking at first, no. I've kind of always been sort of going this way. But I could see how it would appear that way because for a while, I celebrated Jeffree. I really was pulling for him and rooting for him, and I liked his friendship with Shane. Have you noticed all of his best friendships are new? None of them are old. Unless it's someone on the payroll, none of his friendships are old. James Charles, Toddy Westbrook, Manny, Nikita, it goes on and on and on and on. There is a wake of ex-friends behind him. So I have to assume that the Shane Dawson thing eventually will have some kind of falling out. I don't know that that's true. That's, I don't have a crystal ball. If I did, Mom would have a new roof. But my point is, this is something that is next level. I know people, I've been talking with a few people who are the most understanding, sweetest people, who are always loved Jeffree and gave him the benefit of the doubt, who are now saying, I can't give him the benefit of the doubt anymore. I wanted to. People want to like him. He's charismatic. He's a rags to riches story. He's very generous. He's the first person to tell you. He's given everybody a lot of stuff. But you can't buy away the past. You know, it doesn't matter how big of a castle you live in. You can't be better than your worst deed. And if you saw something happening to a 10-year-old, why didn't you stop it right then and there? Why didn't you call the police? Why didn't you? I don't understand why he didn't try to stop that. Maybe he did and I don't know. But for him to say they're friends now, after less than a year later, and here's what really bothers me. He will tweet stuff out deliberately to incite rage in his viewers, and then when he's over it, he acts like they're stupid for being enraged. Like, oh, get over it, the past is the past, just smile and don't be negative. Well, maybe they should have said that to you in the first place when you're telling them who they should hate. You know, oh, forget it, Jeffree, don't be negative, just smile. I mean, how bad of a tragedy can you say that to? How self-centered and self-absorbed to not think of a child. Just smile and let the past be the past. I'm glad he's not a judge when this guy goes and faces court. And now he's talking to a 16-year-old. Now, it could be they're not friends now. That is highly likely, considering his friendships last 2 years at the outside, right? It's highly likely they're not friends. But he only applies these villainous attributes when he doesn't like somebody. When he doesn't like somebody, they're the scourge of the earth. And when he does like them, they're wonderful. Remember, he told Here for the Tea and Sam to not do their video about Jacqueline because Jacqueline was going to kill herself. And so they were in the position, of course, where they'd be horrible people if they continued with their series, which wasn't that bad towards Jacqueline. God forbid she get criticized, right? So they had to stop doing that so they don't, on the off chance that she could harm herself, they're not going to be responsible. And so they're in a very bad position. How convenient. I now look at everything through a different lens with him. I see everything as highly manipulative. As always, I'm looking forward to your thoughts and interacting with you in the comments. Dissent is welcome. Meanies will get the boot. And normally I would ask, do you think I've been too hard on this person? But I am that resolute and confident in my feeling about this. I have no gray area when it comes to the welfare of children, and I don't appreciate that he didn't address that. This is the bold evidence. There are numerous tweets coming out now. When somebody said they are starting to be deleted, I think I just saw Not Another Drama Channel had a tweet saying he's starting to delete them, and I'll link her below as well. All of that is eclipsed now in light of these new events. Jeffree laid down with some serious dogs and got fleas, and he's not talking about it. He has no intention of addressing it. I kind of think had he come out today and said, listen, I was in some serious drugs and I could do anything to be connected to people with these drugs and I was out of my mind and I will regret this forever, that would have been a good start, I think. I can't imagine now that he has any credibility. Does he have credibility with you? And let me know. I know this is like the most unpleasant topic, but I feel like it needed to be addressed. And moving ahead, hopefully we'll be able to talk about much happier subjects, and hopefully everyone is staying safe and healthy. That's most important of all, of course. And wishing you all the best. Until next time, Hausfrau out.